Hi, Dave Kettlewell. Video number 2 in the series on how to restore an old Steinway piano, which is such a blast and so much fun. I really love doing this. And in this video, we're going to, for real, look at an instrument I'm thinking of getting to restore. I'm going to show you what I look at, what I might be concerned about, and how I think about these units. So this piano here is a lovely 1883 Model A. Now this was actually the first smaller grand piano that Steinway made. I believe they began operations in about 1852, but by this time period, it was 1978, they started making these, and this is the 1983 version. It was a little smaller than the B, and they still make the B. They still make an A today, but it's a 6'2" instead of 6. So anyway, a little bit of history there. But let's take a look. Well, I think that maybe a good place to start is you want to look at the case. Now, what is the case? The case is the wood stuff, you know, like this part here, this part here. Now, if we take a look, it's dusty, but you can see it's not cracked. This is the part that holds the music. It's not busted up. If we take a look here, it looks pretty good. It works, it articulates. The lid is solid. And so for a piano of this age, it's actually in very, very good condition. Now, if you come on over and let's just take a peek, if you look in here, you see that the piano strings look pretty good. Not brand new, but pretty good. And the harp here looks pretty good. I don't see any cracks. There are cracks in the soundboard, but believe it or not, they don't impact the sound. You don't have to be worried about these. There's some stuff on the bottom you might want to be concerned about. We'll talk about. These bass strings, they're looking pretty good. So if we look at the case here, the piano is looking good for 137 years old. So let's go ahead now, and we're just going to hit a couple of keys. And most of the time, of course, the benches don't really match anymore. Every single note. Saying, why does that sound so brittle? Because it needs to be voiced. The little hammers that hit the strings are a little hard. They're old and they need to be worked on and poked with a needle, but that's not such a big deal. But at least the action, it works. And for an 1883 piano to have working whippings and action is fantastic. The brittleness is just voicing. I'm convinced I'll just have to do that. Now, if we take a look here, the next thing is to take a look at these. Now, these have been replaced. These are new. The pegs to tighten the strings, and they're in quite nice condition, beautiful. This case, you know, the harp, this gold thing, when it's polished out by hand, it will really look lovely. So I can bring this back with chemicals. I can polish this out. I can polish the strings just with jeweler's cloth. And if we come over here, and let's just take a look at this. It's not perfect, but it's really, really good for this time period. And look at those beautiful legs on this piano. Aren't those fun? I just love it. But so overall, what I'm looking at, you know, did the piano look like it got dumped or slammed anywhere? No. The strings are looking okay, it played okay, you know, the wood's looking all right. Overall, it's here. Now, what might you see when they're really messed up? Okay, when they're really, really messed up, the keys won't necessarily work when you touch them, or they might be busted or broken up. Some of the keys might not work at all. It might have missing strings. These dampers here, that's these little black things right here. These are dampers, and those, of course, stop the note. There's two things that are important: starting the note and stopping the note. That's starting it. The damper stops it. See how it comes down? But they're in quite nice shape. Actually, they look like they have new felts on them, and the reason they look like they have newer felts is they do. Now, this hasn't been tuned for a long time, and another thing you can figure is if a piano's been sitting for a year or two and it's still in tune within itself, then the tuning keys are still holding the tuning, and that means they're still holding. Now, even if they're not holding, you can oftentimes fix that with CA glue, the very thin stuff. And but anyway, I'd say that this piano is a go. For its age, it's looking mighty sweet. The keys, of course, are clean. These have been replaced. This piano came with ivory. These are not ivory. These were replaced with, these appear to be, you know what? I'm wondering what these are. I think they're plastic, but they look real, real nice. If the piano's all there, pretty strong condition, it's worth a shot. Yeah, it's got cracks everywhere in the soundboard, but it's not buzzing. It's actually where the ribs on the soundboard underneath, those create the buzz, not this, not up here. So I know it doesn't look great and it has cracks, but I don't care. It won't make any difference to what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm not going to say that this is a definitive discussion of pianos and what you want to look for, but at least it's a start. And there are other videos on YouTube that will show you, you know, things to look for. There is one other thing I'd say is very, very important. Does the piano speak to you? Do you feel an emotional connection with it? Do you feel good when you're sitting with it and you're touching it? Like this one, I enjoy touching it. I enjoy it, you know. Just tuning it, it would be pretty good, okay? But I feel something for the piano emotionally. There's a connection. I'm connected to it. And that's so important too, that you actually feel something for it. I think that's very, very critical because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this bugger, getting them right. So thanks for joining me for video number 1 on restoring an old Steinway piano. And by the way, I will mention that the easy road is to go buy a new one at the Steinway dealer. You know, this is 137 years old. You don't quite know what you're going to have when you're all done, but when you buy new from Steinway, you do have something that's known, and you'll enjoy that road too. But for those who want to do the restoration game, this is for you.